Jayden Maiava sparks USC as a ball hawk on defense. UCLA's margin for error against Nebraska is this much. And the reason Alex Vesia missed the World Series, it's a tragedy, and we unfortunately all saw it coming. Good morning. I'm James. And this is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. It is November 8th, 2025. I'm finally back in the home office. I can at least therefore confirm one flight happened to work in the government shutdown, so I'm kind of happy about that. We're also continuing to add subscribers to the Angeleno Familia. I promise to do my best to keep you informed, and if you like being in the know about LA sports, click the like button. Click the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop an update. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. By all means, comment. Now, before we go through the news and notes, we have an expanded look at the scoreboard during football season, starting with 19th ranked USC 38, Northwestern 17. For much of the first half, the Wildcats were playing the role in a potential trap game, just as we discussed on this channel yesterday. Maybe the Trojans defense was looking ahead to Iowa. After all, they allowed Northwestern, a very one-dimensional offense, to march on them for 2 first-half touchdowns. Either way, a startling play from Jayden Maiava shook the cobwebs from the entire USC roster. Now, Maiava threw for 299 yards, was credited with 3 touchdowns, but he also prevented another. With the game tied at 14 in the second quarter, Najee Story picked off Maiava and was less than 5 yards away from the end zone. He was about to give Northwestern a shocking lead. But give Maiava credit, he did not give up on the play. He chased down Story, cracked him a good one, and jarred the ball out of him and into the back of the end zone. Touchback, USC ball. Think about that. A quarterback jacking up a 288-pound defensive lineman. Now, you don't think his teammates on the sidelines were hyped to see that? Of course they were. Very next play from scrimmage, King Miller takes the ball 55 yards, and that sets up the actual tie-breaking score. And then USC put the Wildcats in the rearview mirror. The Trojans defense, they conceded just 103 yards in the second half. Miller rushed for 127 yards. Makai Lemon, 11 receptions, including a touchdown. So, where does that leave the Trojans? USC is 7-2, which damn sure ain't bad. They'll climb the rankings a little. You can expect that. They'll keep their long shot bid to get to the college football playoffs alive. But you know the questions we're all thinking, right? Do you start to give Riley any credit for the rebuild? If you don't, I can kind of see your point, right? Because that first half was concerning. If you're going to be a national power, you have to dominate teams like Northwestern. And also, you could be skeptical because it's hard to envision Northwestern being on the level of Iowa or Oregon, which is USC's next 2 opponents. But they're 7-2. 7-2, guys. They are not just barely showing a pulse. They are thriving right now. And yeah, side note, I am very much aware that third-string quarterback Sam Heward wore a completely different jersey number, took the field on 4th down, and completed a pass to move the chains instead of punting. And social media was aghast. All the pearls, all the clutching. How could that rat Lincoln Riley do such a thing? Shame on him. Well, first of all, it's legal. Can you get that through your hating heads? It's legal. Heward changed his number during the week, per ESPN. And by the way, how do players have the same numbers on a college football team? They all do. Every college program from C to Shining C. The rosters are so big, a couple of players are going to have the same number. You just can't have those players on the field at the same time. And finally, other teams have done it. So if you are hating on USC for doing it, you're not mad that the play happened. You just hate Lincoln Riley that much. If that play went against the Trojans, you'd be calling Lincoln Riley a dumbass for falling for it. So shh. I see through that. And by the way, if you still feel like complaining about the play, look at the scoreboard. It was a 3-score difference. Shh. As for basketball, 12th ranked UCLA 74, Pepperdine 63. Still not convincing by the Bruins, but 2-0 is 2-0. Xavier Booker led the Bruins with 15 points. Meanwhile, today, staying with UCLA, Nebraska is at UCLA football at 6. Now, if the Bruins have any shot at bowl eligibility, this is must win. They're not going to beat top-ranked Ohio State. That's not happening. UCLA will have to sweep the rest of their opponents. And we recognize realities on this channel. There are reasons to like Nebraska today. They were out-muscled by USC, which means that they're going to come into Pasadena with something to prove. UCLA's offensive line, somewhat suspect. The Bruins' run defense, somewhat suspect. And they're facing junior running back Emmett Johnson, who has a 1,000-yard rushing season for Nebraska. He's the first Cornhusker to get 1,000 yards since 2018. The guy's rushed for 5 100-yard rushing games this season. And it's a hot streak. 3 of his last 4 games rushed for 100 yards. But I'm still taking UCLA for 2 reasons. 1, Dylan Raiola is not under center after his ankle imploded last week. When TJ Lateef replaced Raiola, Nebraska simply didn't do enough against the Trojans. So I look at this as a battle between a freshman quarterback making his first ever start against Nico Iamaleava. There's also another reason. The Cornhuskers are on the road. 6 of the last 8 Nebraska games were at home. They never leave home. And what happened in those 2 road games? Glad you asked. They barely survived Maryland, and they lost to Minnesota. So, Nebraska, shaky offensive leadership, shaky performances when they're not at home. I like UCLA. You can tell me if I'm wrong. Also, the Lakers are at Atlanta at 5. Phoenix is at the Clippers at 7:30. What do you say we get to the news? The Dodgers asked us to respect the privacy during the World Series for Alex Vesia's family. And virtually all of us did. But I think somewhere in the recesses of our mind, the back of our hearts, I think we all knew what happened. Because TMZ published a story about his wife being pregnant. You read that story, you don't want to draw conclusions, but you damn sure go into prayer mode, right? Still sucks to have those fears confirmed. The Dodger reliever went to social media yesterday to thank everyone for the support after his daughter Sterling had died. Vesia, I don't want to sound cold-blooded, right? Not having Vesia for the World Series was a hit because he was 4-2 with a 3.02 ERA during the regular season. He was a workhorse. He was out there 68 times. And then in the postseason, 2-0 with a 3.86 ERA in 7 games. So when the Dodgers said the day before Game 1 against the Blue Jays that he wasn't with the team, and to respect everybody's privacy, you knew just how deeply personal this really was. Dodger relievers wore Vesia's 51 on their caps as a tribute to the absent teammate. And by the way, for all the angst and sturm and drang when a series goes 7 games and I hate this guy and I hate that guy, give the Blue Jays at least this much for humanity. They wrote 51 on their caps too. Everybody had the Vesia family in mind. It's an unfortunate outcome. So by all means, keep the Vesia family in your prayers. According to computer models, the Rams have an 88% chance of making the playoffs. They seem to have resolved their red zone problems. They're utilizing Devontae Adams more efficiently down there, but there is still a problem to solve. This is not a perfect team. Surprising nobody, the thicker kicker, the fat guy. He's going to replace Joshua Carty as the Rams kicker in Scum Francisco this Sunday. Harrison Mevis. Now, he doesn't totally get the job. Carty has not been released. Moreover, Jake McQuaid takes over as long snapper for Alex Wood. To say the Rams needed these changes, though, is an understatement. Carty missed a league-high 8 kicks this year. Now, I'm not predicting the Rams would be the talk of the NFL, an undefeated 8-0, if it weren't for Carty. But they are 6-2, and the kicking game, well, they did not help matters at all in those 2 losses. When Philly won earlier this year, 33-26, the Eagles blocked 2 Carty field goals. The latter block, which was a potential game winner, was instead returned for an opposing touchdown. In a loss to the 49ers, Carty missed a field goal and a PAT. So, special teams. Special teams are like a cello or a violin in a concerto. You don't really hear the cello too much. You only hear if it's off key. That was the Rams' special teams. As for the Chargers, corner Tarheeb Still is doubtful to play Sunday against Pittsburgh. He has missed all practices this week with a knee injury. Linebacker Woodrow Lowe, by the way, a legend for the Chargers, played for the team before the franchise had the good sense to move to Los Angeles. He has passed away at the age of 71. They did not release the details as to his passing. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Do you start to believe in USC with a 7-2 record? For that matter, what do you think is going to go down at the Rose Bowl this afternoon with UCLA and Nebraska? And if you enjoyed this update, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day. Thank you for watching. I'm James, and we'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.